twitter.com/wakeupcalldt and on facebook.com/live-now-DT, hanging out where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. This is your fantasy football content for the week 11 of fantasy football, giving advice for this 2021-2022 season inside of the extended Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub, 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York, where I will be tonight celebrating the girls basketball team of the West Genesee Wildcats. So a lot of great stuff coming up with the Wildcat Sports Pub, including an entire slate, as you can see here, for fantasy football. So send in your questions, comments, and thoughts to mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on Wake Up Call on Facebook. That's facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. So however you're connecting with us, we thank you so much for being a part of the broadcast as we welcome in Mr. Sofka back onto the show once again. Mike, how we doing?
Doing wonderful. How are you, Dan?
Doing very well. And Mike, I mean, this is, we're in crunch time, and I feel like, you could cut and paste this from any season that we've done fantasy football, where I get really, really excited. I tell everybody, hey, the season's upon us, and then 3 seconds later, the season's almost over. Do you feel the weight of that? Do you get a sense for that we're like in it, and then all of a sudden we're telling everybody to get prepared for the fantasy playoffs?
Yeah, it kind of slips by. Anything worth doing or anything fun, if you don't enjoy it while you're doing it and take the time to smell the roses or enjoy what you've done, or like you said before, make some changes. It's if you don't stop and smell the roses every once in a while, things will fly right past you, as Ferris Bueller once said. That's a loose quote there, but fantasy football brings people some friends and co-workers or whoever, and fly right by if you're not careful. Hopefully you can manage your team effectively all year. Hopefully, but there's still time. There's still I don't mean to say that there's still time for people to make the playoffs that did.
Yeah, and Mike, let me see here. Mike, can you hear us okay? Okay. Yeah, we lost you there for a second. So what was your final point?
Playoffs. Teams that don't think they're in the playoffs and get into the playoffs.
Yeah, we have Mike here. We're going to attempt. Mike, can you hear us okay? You got us, Mike?
I do.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. So Central and Upstate New York has a wonderful internet, and by wonderful internet I mean terrible. So we're gonna roll right into it here. Mike giving sentiments, and me as well, about being excited for the season and being excited for the upcoming playoffs. Thursday Night Football, Mike. The Patriots at the Falcons. What do you got?
Yeah, it should be a good game, and if you look at both these teams, they've been decimated with injuries and players not playing for one reason or another. But this game is going to start with the quarterback. I think Mac Jones has proven himself to be somewhat effective. Belichick is careful with rookie quarterbacks, gives him the advantage, gives him some running back routes and tight end routes to target and get those shorter passes going, and that's okay. Whatever it takes to win. The Patriots are 6-4 right now. I got Mac Jones at 18. I got Matt Ryan on the other side of the field at 22. He's really hurting without any wide receivers. And now Cordero Patterson might be out, dinged up with an injury in this one. It looks like that's going to improve Mike Davis's status. I got him at 22 on the rankings. And looking at running back for the Patriots, you got to be careful because last week was Ramondre Stevenson, and I do have him ranked 31. I think Damian Harris is going to be 7 on the ranking here. I also have Nick for the 26 to pick him up. If not, go out there and get him if you need a running back. Because, again, Cordero Patterson looks like he's going to be out. Looking at the wide, really hard to play wide receiver on either team. Calvin Ridley, of course, being out, and the next step up is Russell Gage, and he's in the 60s on my rankings. I got Jacoby Myers on the other side of the ball, though, at 31, and I have Kendrick Bourne at 43. And then over to the tight ends, of course, Kyle Pitts, top 5 tight end just about all year, even though he got off to a slow start. Number 5 on the tight end rankings. And then Hunter Henry making his presence known lately. He's been on a tear. He's number 11 on the rankings. And looking at this game, I got to go with what I think is the better team right now and the better coach, and that's the Patriots. I'm going to take the Patriots in this one.
Yeah, I think for me, looking at this matchup, it makes sense to take, the Patriots. I know the Patriots haven't looked great this year by any stretch of the imagination of what people are used to seeing what the Patriots are. However, I do believe that this Patriots team is better. I think a lot of teams are better than the Falcons, and I think that's really what it comes down to for me. Is it's not so much the Patriots and how they're playing, but it's how the Falcons are playing. In my opinion, and I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed at all. I wasn't impressed before injuries, and I'm definitely not impressed after injuries. And, this is where Atlanta is. I like Matt Ryan, came from Boston College, hell of a quarterback. It just doesn't seem like this era, though, is working. It doesn't seem like this is a good fit anymore to just keep running. I mean, I was going to say the Julio Jones, Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's the one that survived them all. And it's hard for me because I think Matt Ryan can keep going. I really do. I feel like he's timeless. And, at the same time, I feel like this team is running out of time. So I go back and forth with that. Looking at the fantasy side of things, Mac Jones, not your number one guy. Shouldn't be your number one guy. He's not bad. He's playing Atlanta's defense, and people have been able to have a heyday with that. So if you need somebody, you got somebody injured. Mac Jones is not a bad bet. I'd say he's still a quarterback too, but he's got a favorable matchup this week. As far as Ramondre Stevenson, almost picked him up last week, didn't do it, and should have grabbed him and stashed him. I made a lot of moves last week. That was one of the ones that I did not make. A lot of guys injured: James White, Brandon Bolden, Damian Harris. If everybody stays on the injury report and is not 100%, I think Ramondre is going to get some type of touches. He's playing Atlanta's defense again, so he's not a bad guy to put out there as a running back 3 or a flex. The wide receivers, nobody to write home about. I mean, Jacoby Myers, if you wanted to flex him out as a low-end wide receiver because he's playing Atlanta. Hunter Henry is worth the play, though, in the passing game for the Patriots. On Atlanta's side, I'm not sold on anybody here. We had a message coming in here that says, I think Gallman will be in the mix for the Falcons. Tough Pats defense. Pats still have to play Buffalo twice. They're very live in the AFC East. So, looking at what we have going on right here at this point, I don't like anybody in the running game for the Falcons. Not a big fan of putting Matt Ryan out there or putting out any of the receivers. So, with Atlanta, it's really Kyle Pitts or bust at this point. Russell Gage and Olamide Zaccheaus, these are two guys that are low-end flex. Right now, a wide receiver 4. Maybe Gage the wide receiver 3, depending on how deep your league is, but not a ton of value there. I like Olamide's upside. I like him more than Gage right now at this point in the season. And, with the Patriots, Greg writing in, they got to play the Bills twice. Yeah, they got to play the Bills twice. But if the Bills play the way the Bills typically play, as opposed to how they played against the Jaguars, and I think the Bills are going to be just fine. Greg saying Jacoby got his first touchdown finally. Yes, he did. So good to see that. Good to see Jacoby. That's why, and because he's playing the Falcons, that's why I'm giving him some pub right now as a fantasy player just for this week at this point. Next one up, Mike, we got Indy at Buffalo. Speaking of those Bills, what do you got?
Yeah, I got Josh Allen number one quarterback again. I feel he's been, close to the number one quarterback all year. He's had his down times, but for the most part, he's been getting things done, and he's going to continue to get things done, I think, against the Colts in Buffalo. Josh Allen, number one quarterback. Meanwhile, you got to go a little down. Carson Wentz, number 19 on the rankings. And part of that problem is the wide receivers. The wide receivers have been not really present for him, but we'll get into that in a second. What he does have is one of the top players in the game, that's Jonathan Taylor. And that's all you should do is hand the ball off to Jonathan Taylor. Little screen, Jonathan Taylor. Idea here. On the other side of the ball, Evanson complementing each other well. It doesn't bode well for fantasy players. So I got Singletary at 34, Zach Moss at 35 on the rankings this week. And then you go over to wide receiver. I got Stephon Diggs at number 6 on the rankings here. Michael Pittman might be a little dinged up. I think he's going to make the game here. He's number 20 on the rankings. And there's a tremendous drop-off. I got Emmanuel Sanders at 34 for Buffalo, at 46. But I have to go down to like the 60s to find a T.Y. Hilton and a Zach Pascal. So guys this week. I'm also going to pass on the Indianapolis tight end. Mo Alley Cox is the best tight end I can put out on my rankings this week. Meanwhile, Dawson Knox coming back from the group, and I got him at number 10. At my fantasy rankings, I say.
And Mike, we lost you in that last part. So you got Buffalo? Are you going with Buffalo for that? Okay. So Mike picking the Buffalo Bills here, as we appreciate your patience here. A little bit of a technical difficulty with our line here, and that's just par for the course of the internet during Rona times. So we appreciate you being here and hanging out with us, but we'll look to make sure that you can hopefully hear Mike without too much of an issue here as we step forward. But the next thing that we have up here, as Mike gave his thoughts on the Buffalo Bills and the Colts game, is for me to do exactly the same. So my take on this matchup is Indy travels into Buffalo. I am not too worried about the Indianapolis Colts right now as a team overall, not going up against the Bills. Now, in their division in the AFC South, it's wide open because it just is. It's been that way for a very long time, and the Texans were able to do just enough, and now they're not the team that's doing that. Carson Wentz, this is not the day to play him, I would say. Jonathan Taylor is worth the play, though, for you. Nyheim Hines is worth being flexed out for you. And Michael Pittman Jr. has come along nice as a young wide receiver, so I like him in this game. On Buffalo's side, Josh Allen for sure. And then we look at Stephon Diggs. And then, it kind of branches out here. We look at the fact that Emmanuel Sanders is getting some production and Cole Beasley's still trying to work through the pain and whatnot. So Stephon Diggs worth the play. Emmanuel Sanders a low end 2, high end 3. Dawson Knox back healthy. He's worth playing at tight end. And Zach Moss and Devin Singletary, they should be supplemental running backs for you. They shouldn't be your 1. They shouldn't be your 2. They should be your supplemental guys. I'd go with Zach Moss a little more than Singletary right now, but I don't trust either one of them to carry you home. And I'm going to pick the Bills to win this matchup. Next one up that we have for you, Mike, Baltimore at Chicago. What do you got?
Yeah, I like Baltimore a lot. I know they've been on the skids lately, but I think they're going to get this straightened out. They did just drop Le'Veon Bell, which I found was curious. A second here. I got Lamar Jackson. I think, consistently a top 5 quarterback all year. I got him at number 2 on the rankings, but I got to go down a little further for Justin Fields. Justin Fields is one of those type players where you're looking at him and you're wondering, is he going to do it this game? Are they going to have a deep, long play or two? Is he going to be able to get outside the pocket and get away from the pressure? I got him at number 24. I'm not sure he's going to be able to perform that well in this game. Looking at the running back situation, this is where some things are separated. David Montgomery is back. He's number 15 on the rankings. And then Devonta Freeman at number 24 seems to be the healthiest back available for the Ravens. So I got him at 24. And those are the only 2 running backs for either team that I'm even going to consider playing. And then I look at the wide receivers. Marquise Brown number 10 on the rankings for us. And then I got to go down a little further. I think Daryl Mooney has usurped Allen Robinson. I think Daryl Mooney is definitely the guy. He's definitely the deep ball guy. I got him at number 32 on the rankings. And watch out for Rashad Bateman. If he's still available past waivers, go ahead and get him off the waiver wire. He shouldn't be on the waiver wire in any league. Number 36 on the rankings. He's starting to come on. The rookie making his push, making his presence known the past couple games. This is when you want to get a guy on the way up. You don't want to go searching for him after household name. You're not going to find him. Then at tight end, I have Mark Andrews, of course, number 2 on the tight end rankings. And then Cole Kmet, I got at 19. Looking at the players and the talent on both sides of the field, I got to go with the Ravens in this one.
Yeah, I mean, the Ravens are a hot team. The Ravens are doing what they need to do. The Ravens have been effective. The Ravens, are bringing it. And for me last season, I thought that they were going, I think a lot of people thought that they were going to bring more to the table than they did. And, them and the Chiefs were kind of the teams to beat, the 1 and 2, however you wanted to put them, last season in the AFC. And then we saw, the Ravens kind of falter a little bit. Not terribly, but kind of falter a little bit. And now we're seeing them back on it. This whole, Lamar Jackson's not good. Lamar Jackson's not a quarterback. Lamar Jackson won't make it in the NFL. Oh, okay, well, he made it the first year. Well, he definitely won't make it the second year. Oh, he made it the second year. Well, the third year, somebody will figure out, the third year, they're a Super Bowl potential. So, I think just keep talking, people. Keep talking. Your narrative doesn't work, but keep, And my dad told me everybody's got an opinion and everybody's got a butthole. And some people's opinions smell like them. So, do what you want to do with how you feel about Lamar Jackson, but I'm going to stick with what I stuck with from a long time ago. I supported him when I felt like I was one of 2 people out there in the world, and I'm okay with that. Lamar Jackson is worth playing in this matchup. Hollywood Brown is worth playing as well as a lower-end wide receiver 2. Mark Andrews worth the play for you. Rashad Bateman, the rookie, Mike brought him up, looking at the fact that, he could be a nice flex for you, somebody to grab and stash as you go into your playoff push right now. So just something to look at for Bateman. I think he's like a wide receiver 3 at this point. Latavius Murray's questionable with an ankle injury, so that leaves Tyson Williams and Devontae Freeman out there. I wouldn't trust either one of them to win your week. I think it's more on Lamar Jackson, Hollywood Brown, and Mark Andrews. On the other side for Chicago, Justin Fields is not a bad play for you because he does a lot of different things and he utilizes his feet. So not a bad push for you to have a guy like Justin Fields out there. I got him as a low-end 1, high-end 2 at quarterback. Montgomery being back, Khalil Herbert, for those of you that picked him up like myself weeks ago, he may have done some good things for you, but now that Montgomery's back, it's interesting to see how they're going to be utilized. I don't expect a lot from Herbert. I don't expect a lot from Montgomery. But if I had to choose, Montgomery's back in the starting role, so I'd put him as a running back 3. Allen Robinson, worth the play for you. Cole Kmet as well, since Justin likes to go to him, and he seems to be a trusted guy there for you. And then Darnell Mooney is a wide receiver 4 at this point. I'm going to go with the Ravens to win this matchup. Next game that we have up, Mr. Sofka, before we take a step aside for a fast break, we'll go into Detroit, who really didn't want to win last week, and Cleveland, who's trying to do some good things right now at this point in the season.
Yeah, Detroit, at least they didn't lose last week. They came up with a tie in Pittsburgh, so that's a step somewhat in the right direction, I think. The Lions seem to be coming up short in a lot of games, and that's the first game they were able to at least tie. You almost feel sorry for them at a point if you've watched them. But they've been getting some inconsistent, terrible quarterback play from Jared Goff. Look out for David Blau to make his presence known here soon. I got both those guys ranked 32 and 33, so don't even bother looking there. If you have to look there on your roster, look on the waiver wire. Look for best of the 2 players that are on Detroit's teams. One of them is DeAndre Swift. He's number 6 on the ranking this week. been getting it done. Even I doubted him at some points early in the year, and he's been getting it done on the ground. Looks like Nick Chubb is going to be back now, so he's number 8 on the rankings. Dearness Johnson is still going to get some touches. He's still worth a flex play for you. He's at 44 on the rankings. And looking at wide receiver here, Jarvis Landry is the highest ranked receiver for the Browns that I have, number 30. And for Detroit, it's even worse. Number 40, Khalif Raymond. But the tight end for Detroit is where you're going to find the value. That's T.J. Hawkinson. He's a top 10, top 5 tight end all year. He's number 6 on the rankings this week. And Austin Hooper, number 20 on the rankings this week. I'd like to say Detroit's going to jump up and bite the Browns this week, but I got to go with the Browns at home.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to go with Detroit with how they've been playing. At least we know they won't have a total winless season. They won't go 0-17 because they have a tie. So they're 0-8-1. And Johnny, my Central New York resident Detroit fan, he said to me, because we were watching the game together, and because it was the day he gave me the blessing and the honor with his wife Erin to be their son Noah's godfather. And we're sitting watching the game, and he looked at me right before overtime started. He goes, "Oh, you don't understand." He goes, "This game's going to end in a tie. Nobody's going to win this game." And he was 100% correct. There was about 52 fumbles and an interception and all type of stuff going on. Nobody wanted to win this matchup, and nobody did. Jared Goff, I think we've seen it. I said it going into the season. I said they get Jared Goff, they give up Matt Stafford. Stafford's probably going to have arguably his best season at quarterback ever. Have a great couple of years with the Rams. He's doing that right now. I said if the Jared Goff project doesn't work, they got all these draft picks from the Rams. They can go get a franchise quarterback in the draft. It looks like they're going to be doing that. So David Blau doing his thing. He came out at in overtime, and he was the one that was part of the coin toss. DeAndre Swift is worth the play for you, and T.J. Hawkinson. That's it. On the other side, it's Baker Mayfield, because he's playing Detroit's defense. If he's able to go, not a bad play to put Baker Mayfield out there. I got him as a quarterback 1 if he's good enough to go. And then Nick Chubb, as we look at him right now, hopefully we'll get to see him come out here. You got to keep watching, though, on Nick Chubb's status. Dearness Johnson has more value if he's not out there, obviously. And if he is out there, he's flex value for you. Speaking of Dearness Johnson. Jarvis Landry worth the matchup in this one because he's playing Detroit, and Austin Hooper as well. I got the Browns winning this game. I'm not worried about it. I'm not concerned about it. Mike, we'll do one more before a fast break. We're inside of the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub, 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. So happy to be here with you. They're there for every single game, every single matchup, every single day of the week. And, of course, outside of dining inside, you can order for takeout or delivery by calling 315-487-2222. That's 315-487-2222. So make sure you do that. Mike, we got the Houston Texans at the Tennessee Titans. The Houston Oilers became the Tennessee Titans, and then Houston got a new franchise. Well, Houston's made nothing but bad decisions recently in this franchise, and the Tennessee Titans have made a bunch of good decisions. Are you surprised that Tennessee is still winning without Derrick Henry? And do you think they're going to continue winning against the Texans?
Titans are a well-coached team. They got some excellent personnel, and they utilize that thing in the NFL they call next man up. It doesn't matter who's hurt. We got another guy. We're not rebuilding. We're reloading. They're doing what they had to do. They went out and got Adrian Peterson. Yeah, he's not tearing it up, but they got a 3-headed monster at running back. But that doesn't bode well for fantasy players. I'll get into it here. The Texans have a problem, and it's been at quarterback. Tyrod Taylor's back recently, and he's taken a little while to get back. I got him at 23 on the rankings. I'm not interested in playing him, but if I have to, that's where he is comparatively. On the other side of the ball, though, they got a complete opposite situation. They have Ryan Tannehill, who's been able to be a game manager, yet still somewhat effective fantasy points-wise, especially with Derrick Henry being out. Ryan Tannehill, number 14 on the rankings. And like I said before, for running back, I can't really count on a Jeremy Nichols. I can't count on a Adrian Peterson. I can't count on on a Dante Foreman, but that's the guy you're going to want long term. He's going to win this race out of the three-headed monster. For now, I've got Jeremy Nichols at number 28 on the rankings. I got Dante Foreman at number 36. And proves himself. He's looked like the better guy. He's just got to get the right opportunities. You know, you go to the other side of the ball, and I want to have faith in what Houston's got in a running back. Just don't. David Johnson is supposed to be the man there. He's the man, right? They swapped out the other man basically. Yeah, he's number 40 on the running back ranking. Doesn't he get it done?
All right,
for Tennessee. He's number 12.
Mike, I'm gonna ask you to go back to. Sorry, I'm gonna ask you to go back to the running back room here because we missed something that you said.
Yeah, no worry. In the running back room for Houston doesn't impress me at all. David Johnson's number 40 on the rankings. Jeremy McNichols, 28 for Tennessee. And Dante Foreman, number 36. And Dante Foreman's going to be the guy long term. So make a push to get him. I think he's going to win out of that three-headed monster. And again, the wide receivers, I got Brandon Cooks at 14. And then A.J. Brown, of course, is the number one target in Tennessee. I got him at number 12. Looks like Julio might not make this game again. Looking at the tight end position here, tight end's a little bit different for both of these teams in that, well, I don't really know of one that I can count on. Maybe a Jeff Swaim at 22 for Tennessee, maybe a Jordan Atkins at 25, but I'm really not interested in those guys. And looking at this game, even though it's 1-8 versus 8-2, you would think that this would be a close game because of the relationship of the two teams. It's not going to be. Tennessee's going to win this game running away.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Tennessee. You know, that's the thing. Tennessee has been a thorn in Jacksonville's side for a million years, as I've told you, so I've seen it firsthand. And then you look at it and say, okay, well, they've been a thorn in everybody's side because look at the talent that they have. But now I'm looking at it saying to myself, they don't have their best player out there on the field in Derrick Henry. And, you know, best fantasy player for sure. And yet, look at how good they are. And look at what they're doing. So, I mean, this is a team, like you said, Mike, it comes down to coaching, being well coached. You know, how do you win games? Well, how do you win games when your starters go down? You got good coaches with good plans that have the right personnel to come in and be the next man up, like you said, and to be successful. If you have a good game plan, if you have a good system, you should be able to plug and play. And we see that with Bill Belichick all the time with the Patriots, and that's why we've seen so much success. That's why their quarterbacks look really, really good when they're there, and then they leave, and people are like, well, why isn't Matt Castle this phenom? You know, and it's because that in these situations, you know, coaches like a Bill Belichick, you know, and here's a guy from the Titans who comes from the Bill Belichick coaching tree. So you shouldn't be surprised at all that Mike Vrabel is someone who played for Bill Belichick and obviously has been a coach, and now he gets to move forward in his duties as a head coach, and he's been very, very successful. And you look at the two coaches that we're talking about, both coming from working together. So a lot of great stuff here from the Belichick coaching tree, and I do respect it very much. For Houston, Tyrod Taylor back as the top of this, starting after the bye. I don't see a lot of value anywhere unless you want to put Brandon Cooks out there as a wide receiver, low end 2, high end 3. At quarterback, Ryan Tannehill, low end 1 because he's playing the Texans in this one. Dante Foreman coming from Texas. This is a guy that never caught on in Houston, and you can bet your behind he's going to want to show Houston what he thinks about them letting him go. So I'd play him out there as a flex or a running back 3 because I think he's going to have a good day. A.J. Brown's worth the play as well for you. And unfortunately, Julio Jones just can't seem to stay healthy. Julio Jones cut and paste every single year. He plays. He's kind of hurt. He's questionable. It's an ankle. It's this. It's that. And then he ends up being out for a bunch of weeks. It's really sad to see. But Julio Jones' hamstring has left him out here, maybe back in week 14. So my best and my prayers go to Julio Jones that he can heal and stay healed in his career, which is something that hasn't really happened for him, unfortunately. So I'm going to go with the Texans at home in this matchup, or pardon me, the Titans at home in this matchup. I'm not concerned about this game at all, and I'm excited to see what Deontay Foreman's going to do to his former team. So we'll see as that unfolds. We're going to be talking about Green Bay and Minnesota after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Stay with us as you hear from our fantastic partners in Central and Upstate New York, including the partner that brings you the Fantasy Football Power Hour, that being the Wildcat Sports Pub here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. We'll talk with you momentarily right after this fast break. And as always, we appreciate you so much for being here inside of the Cafe Kubal studios.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Proud to be here with you inside of the Cafe Kubal studios every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You're watching on Facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, Facebook.com/LiveNowDT, and on YouTube.com/wakeupcalldt. So however you're tuning in, we thank you so much as you listen on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt and on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage here inside of these Cafe Kubal studios. This is the Fantasy Football Power Hour, not one of, not a, but the Fantasy Football Power Hour with Mike Sofka and myself, Dan Tortora. Always proud to be here with you, giving you our advice on every single game, every single team that's playing every single week. And after the season is over, our season has just begun, as Mike and I carried you through the entire year and a half now of everything with the pandemic. We did our work, did our research, did everything. We did more than we had ever done any year before during the pandemic. Not even knowing if there was going to be a season, Mike and I kept going after it, treated it like there was going to be, believed in it, hoped in it, pushed for it, and thank God there was. And we continue to do that here for you now. So no matter what it is, fantasy football never stops, which is why we're always with you every Wednesday inside of the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub. I thank Mike for his dedication and I thank you for being dedicated to being with us. So we appreciate it. Mike, next game we got up, Green Bay at Minnesota. What do you got?
Yeah, Green Bay and Minnesota is always a great game. It's always a cold weather game, and I feel for the today it's in the 50s. I mean, we are running around like chickens with our heads cut off here in Florida. We don't know what's going on. It's in the 50s. Anyway, Green Bay and Minnesota. I like Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, number 9 quarterback on the rankings this week. Kirk Cousins, Mr. Mendoza, he's the guy you can count on a bye week or fill in or whatever. He's number 16, right there in the middle on the rankings once again. And looking at the running back situation, Dalvin Cook, one of the top running backs, when he's healthy, he's number 5 on the rankings. And, of course, Aaron Jones going to be missing this game. A.J. Dillon's been stepping up, and I like what he has. I think he's going to fill the shoes of Aaron Jones very nicely. He's number 7 on the rankings. That's right, A.J. Dillon, number 7 on the running back rankings this week. And then you go to the wide receiver room. Each team's got a good wide receiver. Devontae Adams, number 2 on the rankings. Justin Jefferson, the youngster, he's been getting it done in the sophomore season. He's number 8 on the rankings. And then you got Adam Thielen not too far behind it, number 18. Looking at the tight end situation is a little bit different. The one guy I like on the field is Tyler Conklin, number 14 on the rankings for Minnesota. I don't really have a guy for Green Bay that I'm excited to start at all, not in the top 20s, so I'm passing there. Looking at this game, this is going to be a real good game. I like the Zimmer coach team, but he's on the hot seat. He may not make it past this year. I'm going to go with the Packers on the road.
Yeah, this is a good game because, like you said, it's always going to be a nice matchup, no matter where the records are, where these teams are at. A lot, and really everybody's healthy, fantasy-wise, that you need to be thinking about for this game, which is huge. So, God bless me. So with seeing a lot of health here outside of Aaron Jones, we're seeing the wide receivers back and healthy and well for both sides. Aaron Jones is doubtful with an MCL injury, which puts my guy A.J. Dillon from Boston College primely in that starting spot for the first time ever. Patrick Taylor, the second, also from Memphis. He's going to be backing up A.J. Dillon, which I'm excited about that. Aaron Rodgers worth the play. A.J. Dillon worth the play. Devontae Adams, Allen Lazard. Randall Cobb is a sneaky flex. And then on the other side for Minnesota, Kirk Cousins, not a bad play for you if you got somebody off this week. Maybe you have Justin Herbert, maybe you have Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford's off this week. So Kirk Cousins, not a bad play for you. Lower end one, obviously below Aaron Rodgers. Delvin Cook's worth the play. Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and Tyler Conklin as a mid-range tight end one. So I like the value on both sides of this thing. And I'm going to lean on the Packers for this one, but I think this game could get really close and be very interesting. And then we did get a question that came in, Mike. How do we feel about David Montgomery for the rest of the season?
I think he's going to do well, as long as he remains injury-free. Like I said, he's a top-end running back too this week. I think that, again, should he stay injury-free, he's going to finish up fine.
Yeah, I would agree that, he obviously brings value to the Bears, and there's something good that you can have with him there. I think Khalil Herbert might be a potential, somebody to grab and stash a nice handcuff for you to have if other people have dropped him now that and you got to watch that. Now that Montgomery's back, a lot of people may have dropped Herbert. If they did that, listen, you're one play away all the time. So you don't just drop Herbert for something like that. So, if something happens to Montgomery or Herbert just catches fire easier and they want to stay consistent with that, Herbert's not a guy that you drop right now. But Montgomery, if he stays healthy, I would like to think that, he'll be able to carry the load. I don't think he's a 1. I think he's a running back 2, but that's where I'd put him. But then we appreciate the question, and make sure you keep sending your questions in. Miami at the Jets, Mike. What do you got?
Yeah, this is a game again, another one of those games. I know it sounds like a broken record, but no matter what the records are, this is a close game. Unfortunately for both teams, their records are similar. The Jets 2-7 and the Dolphins 3-7. This game being played in New Jersey, or New York as they like to try to call it. Looking at the quarterback play on both sides, I think Tua is going to have a heck of a game. I think the Jets secondary is suspect. They can pressure, but if he can get outside, which is what he can do, I think he can get outside the pocket, he'll be just fine. I got him number 10 on the rankings. And then just in this morning, this is breaking news, Joe Flacco is going to be the starter for the Jets. And I can't start that cat. There's a reason why he wasn't a starter in the NFL, okay? It's past him. It's unfortunate. He's still got some, mental capacity, though, as a quarterback. It's just putting that physical presence, and hopefully they'll give him a good game script where he won't have to rely too much on his lack of athleticism. On the running back side, Michael Carter, number 17 on the rankings, and you got Myles Gaskin at 13. So, again, interesting dynamic there, running back. One of those guys is going to really step up in this game. One of them is going to have a mediocre game. I don't know which one, but you see where I got him ranked. You take it from there. Looking at the wide receiver room, it's really tough pickings here. I mean, I maybe have a Jalen Waddle at number 19. Corey Davis for the Jets at 35. Elijah Moore's come on as strong lately. Jamison Crowder's at number 47. But, I'm not really sure I can count on any of these guys. And then looking at the tight end situation, Mike Gesicki had an abysmal week last week. I hope that doesn't carry over. He's number 7 on the tight end rankings. And for the Jets, I really don't have anybody. I mean, maybe Ryan Griffin at 26, so I'm probably not playing that guy. I'm going to go with Miami on the road. I think they are the better team, even though their record only indicates that by one victory. I still think Miami's a much better team. I'm going to take Miami on the road against Flacco.
Yeah, I mean, this game for the Jets, I mean, this is the third quarterback we're seeing for the Jets this season, and it's unfortunate. I go back to a few years back, and they might have been playing the Dolphins, where they ran out of quarterbacks, and Tom Tupa, the punter, had to be the quarterback for the Jets, and he threw 2 touchdowns. And I remember going, nobody had him in fantasy, because back then I don't even think you could do fantasy online. You might be able to, but there's no way you can pick a punter. So it was kind of just crazy to see something like that happen. That's why you need team quarterback, which is what we play here in the Wake Up Call fantasy football leagues. Because if you had team quarterback and the quarterback goes down and the punter steps in, whoever's throwing them touchdown passes, I would think that you would get those. But it's a very unique and weird situation. The Jets just can't seem to catch a break. The Dolphins are trying to break out and do some good things. Jalen Waddle, I like him in this matchup, and Mike Gesicki. Myles Gaskin is a lower end flex for me in this, and that's how I look at that, break it down. For the Jets, Michael Carter, I told you he'd be the starter before the end of the season. I'm not surprised. I like where he's at, and I think that, for me, Michael Carter is a running back 3 at this point, and I really don't trust any of the wide receivers because they've had so many different quarterbacks, so let's put them in an interesting situation. Kenny Yeboah, though, shout out to him. Kenny Yeboah, the tight end for the Jets. A lot of love for him. I covered him when he was getting recruited, so just wanted to give him a little shout out because he deserves it. I'm going to go with the Dolphins in this game kind of reluctantly because I don't like either one of these teams. So this is not a game that I know that up in New York we're forced to watch this game, but I will not be doing that. Next one up that we have here, New Orleans at Philadelphia. What do you got?
Actually, Dan, is it possible we could take a short break here? My computer just locked up. I'm having to reboot everything, so it'd be much better response from me if I can have my computer.
Absolutely, yeah. No, we can take a step aside for a fast break here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life, and we will be back momentarily right after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. We appreciate you being here, hanging out with us, where sports meets life once again. And we will be here momentarily after this fast break to bring you our next game. Our next game is going to be the matchup between New Orleans and Philadelphia in Philadelphia. Plenty more coming up on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Week 11, Fantasy Football 2021-2022 season. The extended Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub right here exclusively on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with us. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop CafeCabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Inside of the Cafe Cabal Studios, this is your Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub, 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. The Wildcat there for you 7 days a week for your dining pleasure, for lunch, dinner, and drinks. Of course, drink responsibly. And they are there for you as well for takeout and delivery by calling 315-487-2222. That's 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat Sports Pub. So make sure you make your way over to the Wildcat and let them know the Wake Up Call sent you. We'll be there tonight, Wednesday, November 17th at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time, as we will be going live with the West Genesee Wildcats girls basketball team from right up the road of the Wildcat Sports Pub. So very much looking forward to seeing Stafford Spreeder and the team there tonight. Mr. Sofka and I are doing our thing here. We got more games coming up. Mike, we got New Orleans and Philly. Are you ready to rock on this one?
Yeah, I am. This cold weather we're having in the 50s made my computer freeze up. My apologies.
No, it's okay. I know you guys are dealing with a terrible wind chill down there.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Where are we at? We're at the Saints and Eagles, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You know, the Eagles have a fortunate position. Their quarterback doesn't look like he's doing much, doesn't look like he's doing enough to win you your fantasy game, but because he's got legs and an arm, he's able to get it. He's been a curious top 10 quarterback just about all year. He's number 5 on the rankings for me this week. And then New Orleans has the opposite problem. They had a Jameis Winston. He was playing well. Then he was playing not so well. Then he's done for the year. They bring in Trevor Siemian. He looks like he's going to play well. Now it looks like he's not playing so well. He's number 28 on the rankings. Taysom Hill, number 34. Be interesting to see Taysom Hill or more of Taysom Hill in this game. If Taysom Hill is named the starter, he's going to be capable of putting up Jalen Hurts type numbers because he's got legs as well. So be on the lookout for that. Looking at the running back position, you know Alvin Kamara is the guy, but well, he's not going to be playing in this game, unfortunately. Looks like it's going to be Mark Ingram, who's the team's all-time leading rusher, by the way. Mark Ingram, number 21 on the rankings. On the other side of the field in Philadelphia, they're hoping that Miles Sanders is going to make it back. I got a Boston Scott news. I'm not real sure what's going on there, so I'm going to stay away from that situation for right now. Looking at the wide receivers, both teams have had on their roster or have rostered top wide receivers, unfortunately, are just not available, and I don't think I can play any wide receiver. Maybe a Donta Smith as a wide receiver too, if he's able to make the game. I got him at 24 on the rankings. No one really on New Orleans side that I can say anything about. Maybe a Deontay Harris, if he gets lucky on a deep ball. He's number 57 on my rankings. And then you look at the tight end position, and, well, you can keep looking. I mean, maybe a Dallas Goedert. I got him at 8, but that's it, really. Maybe Adam Troutman at 24. I'll give you that, but I'm not starting that cat. And I'm going to go with the Eagles at home in a close one.
Yeah, this is a game that should be a playoff game, of recent years, but it's not this time around. It's just not that appealing as it typically was in the past. I do think it's going to be close, and I think it's going to be interesting, but it doesn't have the playoff. I don't want to say not that appealing. It is appealing. I mean, obviously the fans are going to watch it and excited. I'm excited about it. I love every NFL game, and I love watching every team. But this doesn't have the implications, is what I'm saying, this time around here. And Ian Book's probably sitting there like, what do I have to do to start? Literally. What do I have to do? So, coming out of Notre Dame, Alvin Kamara right now in a situation where he is questionable. If he's able to play, you play him. If not, Mark Ingram gets more value. If Kamara does play, Mark Ingram's still going to get some pull, I would imagine, with Kamara maybe not being 100%. So I would look at Mark Ingram to have some touches there, some opportunities for you as a running back 3. Every quarterback's got their guy. Traquan Smith, he's rising up here. Maybe he didn't have it with Jameis, but he's got a little bit more here now. So I like Traquan Smith as a low-end 2, high-end 3 wide receiver in this matchup. Marquez Callaway, he gets another end zone opportunity there and capitalizes recently here. Callaway, another wide receiver 3, I would say, on this one. Jawan Johnson, he moves up the list again because, again, you look at the quarterback changes and whatnot. He is a tight end 2. For Philadelphia, on their side, Jalen Hurts brings a lot of value, as Mike talked about. Jordan Howard and Boston Scott, they did some good things. They're flex guys for you. Devontae Smith is another opportunity for you to capitalize here. He's been their best option besides Jalen Hurts in fantasy. I like him as a wide receiver too. And Dallas Goedert is injured, so you got to monitor that. If he's able to go, I'd look at him, but he is coming off a concussion, so I would just watch that. But a lot of value on both sides, and I'm going to go with Philadelphia. I'm gonna pick Philadelphia as well. Kind of surprised myself in doing this, but I'm going to pick the Philadelphia Eagles to get the victory in this matchup. So excited here. And next one that we have coming up here, Mr. Sofka, we have Washington at Carolina. What do you got?
Yeah, I kind of like this game. These are middling teams again. Washington at 3-6. I think they're better than that. And I got the Panthers. You see them at 5-5. Panthers have been dealt with some injuries, but they're getting some guys back here. So let's look at the quarterbacks first here. Well, not so much. I don't think I'm playing most of these guys. Cam Newton, though, the new guy on the team, played last week, starting this week again. This is a guy who's number 8. Cam likes him some Cam. So in the red zone, look for some Cam. Goal line situation, look for some Cam. So this is going to work out for fantasy players' benefits having Cam on the field. Now, is that going to translate to wins for the Panthers? I don't know. Is he going to play great for the Panthers? I don't know. But he's going to put up some fantasy points. So keep that in mind. If he's still available, you may want to at least roster him. He's number 8 on the rankings. And then for Washington, Taylor Heineke, 25. Maybe it's just a matter of time before they go to Kyle Allen. I just can't trust that situation there. Who I can trust is the guy who's back for Carolina. That's Christian McCaffrey, number 1 running back this week on the rankings. I like Christian McCaffrey a lot this week. And on the other side of the ball, Antonio Gibson is still playing with that fracture in his leg, but they've been pacing him, and it's been working out to his benefit as well as the team's. He's number 20 on the rankings. And then not too far behind him is J.D. McKissick. He's the pass-catching guy, PPR guy for you, number 30 on the rankings this week. Going over to wide receiver, well, not so much. DJ Moore, probably the best wide receiver on the field, number 16 on the rankings. Terry McLaurin, maybe the answer to DJ Moore on the other side. He's number 22 on the rankings. That's because of the deficiencies that they're having at quarterback. And then at tight end, Not really sure I'm excited about any tight end on either side of the field. Maybe a wild card shot on a Tommy Tremble, but all these guys are in the 30s. I'm not starting these guys at tight end. So, I like this game a lot, but I got to go with the team who has the best player, and Christian McCaffrey. I'm going to take the Panthers at home.
Yeah, I mean, this matchup, I mean, look at this. Now all of a sudden you got Cam Newton back when you didn't have him there, and it was one of those situations that, I mean, obviously off the field it's not the same as Deshaun Watson's situation, but it was one of those like standstills where you didn't know what was going to happen. Like, remember with Deshaun, before everything came out off the field, whatever, that there was this notion of like, he doesn't want to be there, they're not going to let him go, they don't know what to do. You know, there's that feeling with Cam Newton of like, what's going to happen? Is he leaving? Is he going? Is he getting traded? And now they get to bring him back under another coaching staff. And I think this is great. I think Matt Rule might have fallen into something pretty awesome. And I'm excited about the second coming of Cam Newton in Carolina. So on Washington's side, Antonio Gibson's worth the play and Terry McLaurin. On the other side for Carolina, I like Cam Newton in the game. I really do. I like, Christian McCaffrey as well. DJ Moore gets some value here. Some of these guys, were around when Cam was here the last time. So that's good for them. And Ian Thomas, a little sneaky guy at tight end, a low end 1, high end 2 at tight end that might find the end zone with Cam. I'm going with Carolina in this matchup. I'm not worried about it. I think Carolina's going to take care of business. I know Washington plays everybody tough, and you can never count Washington out, but I'm going to pick Carolina in this. San Francisco at Jacksonville. What do you have for this?
Yeah, it's a real interesting game to me. Both teams, of course, with losing records. The Niners at 4-5, the Jaguars at 2-7. This is a 1 o'clock game on the East Coast for a left coast team. A left coast team who just came off a huge win, their first home win in over a year at their home stadium, a game they weren't supposed to win. Could this be a letdown game in Jacksonville? Let's get right to it here. Looking at the rankings, first of all, I'd like to say Trevor Lawrence is just killing it. He's not. He's having his rookie struggles. He's at number 21 on the ranking. Jimmy Garoppolo not far above him at number 17 on the ranking. So we don't see a lot of value in the quarterback play here. Looking at the running back play, this is where you're going to find some value in the James Robinson at number 14 on the rankings. You go down a little farther for the Niners. The Niners, of course, looking at Elijah Mitchell, but I don't think he's going to be healthy enough to get this game. Are we going to see some Trey Sermon? I got Elijah Mitchell right now at 19, but caution there because he is still questionable. Looking at the wide receiver room, Deebo Samuel, they're using him like Atlanta uses Cordero Patterson. They were lining him up at running back and getting the ball. He was scoring. Wide receiver, he's scoring. He's scoring on trick plays. Deebo Samuel is the best athlete, the best wide receiver on the field for either team. He's number 4 on the rankings this week. And then for Jacksonville, you got to go down a little ways to 37 and 38 for Marvin Jones and Jamal Agnew. They're lining up Jamal Agnew at the running back at sometimes for the Jags, and he ripped off a big run last week. And then you go over to tight end, George Kittle finally back in the last week. He's number 4 on the ranking. And watch out for Dan Arnold making some way. And he's still available out there in a lot of leagues. I've been talking him up the past couple weeks. He's making his presence known. He's number 12 on the tight end rankings this week. And I'm going to go with the upset. The left coast, the East Coast, 1 o'clock game. Jacksonville's looking for another win. The 49ers are coming off a game that they shouldn't have won. I think there's going to be a hangover. I'm taking Jacksonville at home.
I like where your head's at, Mr. Sofka, and I'll talk about that in a second. If you have team quarterback like you have in the wake-up call fantasy leagues, the Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo thing is not a bad one to have. Quarterback 2 overall as a group, but it's not a bad play because Trey Lance, I believe, could get involved in this game toward the end zone against the Jaguars. Deebo Samuel worth the play as a flex guy for you. And they got a ton of injured players at running backs that I'm not really sold on. Brandon Ayuk is another flex guy. George Kittle is worth starting at tight end. For Jacksonville's side of things, James Robinson is your guy to put out there. Jamal Agnew, nice guy to pick up as a flex because he's going to give you punt return, kick return, and he's already got a couple back for a touchdown. But missed field goal that he was able to return that I was on site for in Jacksonville. But punt return, kick return, wide receiver. And like Mike said, running back Jamal Agnew is very involved, so you don't want to miss out on the opportunity to get him out there. And so make sure that you do that. And I'm sure that he's out there kind of hanging out. Dan Arnold's been serviceable as well, so I like him at tight end for you. And so really, James Robinson, Dan Arnold, and a little bit of Jamal Agnew. I'm picking the Jaguars at home to take care of business. I really am. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen here for these Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to agree with Mike. Mike and I never know who the other person's picking, and I was going with Jacksonville in this one. So I'm excited for this. Mike and I have gone snake eyes on everything. We have picked the same all the way through, including the Jaguars. Mike, we got a question here. DJ Moore, Mike Williams, or Gibson at flex, non-PPR?
DJ Moore, Mike Williams, and what was the last one?
Antonio Gibson, no PPR.
Yeah, I'd still probably go with DJ Moore. I like DJ Moore a lot. I think he's offers you the best upside. And if I'm not mistaken, let me see where I got Mike Williams here. Yeah, I know I got Mike Williams lower than Terry McLaurin. So, yeah, DJ Moore is definitely the answer there. PPR or not PPR. Antonio Gibson would be right behind him, and then Mike Williams.
Yeah, and I'm going to, not to confuse you, Billy, I'm going to say Antonio Gibson. If it's non-PPR, I'm going to stick with Gibson in this one. And as Mike said, they're very close in his opinion, so I would agree with that. But I trust Gibson more than Moore. Mike trusts Moore a little bit over Gibson, but definitely not Mike Williams. So hopefully we helped you with that a little bit here, and we appreciate you very much so. And thanks for the question. Next one that we got up, Mr. Softgut, after picking the Jaguars, we have Cincinnati at Vegas. What do you got?
Yeah, I like Joe Burrow. I mean, when he was injured, that was, it's been tough on him on the way back. I still think he's a top-level quarterback waiting to happen in this league. He's proven with flashes of brilliance to his old buddy Jamar Chase. I got Joe Burrow at number 15 on the rankings this week. I got Derek Carr slightly above him at number 12, so a bottom-end QB1 for Derek Carr. Looking at the running back situation, Josh Jacobs at an 18, and you got Kenyon Drake not far behind him at 29. Look for Kenyon Drake to continue to be involved in the backfield. But, of course, the best running back on the field is Joe Mixon from Cincinnati, number 12 on the rankings. Looking at the wide receivers, Jamar Chase. This is the highest I've had him ranked all year, number 3 on the wide receiver board, but he's a big play waiting to happen. He's a touchdown machine. He's the guy that out of nowhere, all of a sudden, he's got 100 yards and a touchdown, and it's consistent. It's consistently the big play guy, and you got to like that in fantasy. Hunter Renfrow is trying to be the big play guy for Vegas. He's number 17 on the rankings this week. I'm still waiting on a Brian Edwards to break out, so I can't start anybody else, even for Cincinnati. I mean, maybe a T. Higgins, he's at 26 on the rankings, and a Tyler Boyd at 42. For the tight ends, one of the best tight ends in the game, Darren Waller, number 3 for Vegas, number 3 on my rankings this week. And in Cincinnati, you got to go down to number 18 on the rankings for CJ Uzomah. This is a guy who has flashes of brilliance himself. He's a red zone dependent type tight end, a touchdown dependent tight end. He's not going to rack up a bunch of yards for you like Waller will with a bunch of catches. Looking at this game, both teams same record, 5-4, 5-4. Coin flip game in my mind, but I'm going to take the Bengals on the road in Vegas.
The Bungles, baby. Yes, this game is going to be a good game. Joe Burrow's worth the play. Mixon worth the play. Jamar Chase worth the play. T. Higgins is a low end 2, high end 3. CJ Uzomah, I picked him up this season to be my tight end, and I know that he doesn't always wow, but he gives you something, and he could be one of the more consistent guys out there. On the other side, Josh Jacobs, not bad for you. He's a running back 2, in my opinion. And then Hunter Renfrow in the passing game. This is a guy I'm not surprised when it comes to PPR that he'll help you out because he was Hans McGee for Deshaun Watson at Clemson, and Mike being down there in the Orlando area, that's where I got to see Hunter Renfrow shine in a game where Clemson outlasted Virginia Tech in the ACC championship game. So I like Hunter Renfrow for PPR and Darren Waller as well in this matchup, and I'm also going with the Bungles in this one because I think they're going to do a little bit more than Vegas. Vegas wins games that I don't think they're going to. And then it's one of those things where it's like Vegas wins and then you're like, oh my goodness, okay, so I got to go Vegas next week. But they're back and forth. They're kind of fitting, the Raiders are, of being in Vegas because, you're at the roulette table and it comes up red, red, red. So you go, okay, I'm going to go red, and then it comes up black. So that's kind of how the Raiders are. That's kind of who the Raiders are. They're not a bad team. They're better than I thought they would be. However, they're not consistent every week, and I think Cincinnati is going to catch them on this one. I think it'll be a good game. Dallas at Kansas City, speaking of good games, some people are hoping this is going to be the Super Bowl. What do you have for this?
Yeah, Cowboys a surprising 7-2. If you ask me, that's surprising. And the Chiefs 6-4. I think both teams are capable of being one of the top teams in their divisions, in their conference, but they just haven't proven themselves to be able to stay as one of those top teams. Getting right into it here, Dak Prescott number 6 on the rankings, and you got Patrick Mahomes number 4. So we're definitely playing some quarterbacks in this game. Running back Ezekiel Elliott number 11 on the rankings this week. Darrell Williams number 25 for the Chiefs, and look for Clyde Edwards-Helaire to slowly be worked back in this week. He's at number 32 on the rankings. And going over to wide receiver, I like CD Lamb a lot. He's number 11 on the rankings, but I like Tyreek Hill more. He's the number 1 overall wide receiver on my rankings this week, consistently top in that category. He's already got 75 receptions and over 800 yards and 8 touchdowns. This guy's been getting it done in what's been an abysmal year so far by Chiefs standards, by Patrick Mahomes and that Chiefs offense. So cash in while you can. And then looking at the tight ends, Travis Kelce, number 1 tight end. Dallas gives up the points to the tight end. Travis Kelce is in a position to have a great week. I know he's had a down year, and so is Mahomes, but this is where they get it back. Number 1 on the rankings. And KC has a deficiency at defending against the tight end as well. So I got Dalton Schultz at number 9 on the rankings. This is going to be a shoot 'em out type game. I'm really looking forward to this, and I'm going to go with the Chiefs at home over Dallas.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. I mean, this is going to be very exciting for me, and I'm excited to see what's going to go down in this game because this has a huge marquee type feel. This should be Monday Night Football. This is what Monday Night Football should be. This is where you utilize the rotator and say to yourself, this is the game that we need to move off of midday on Sunday and put it in to Monday Night Football, if not Sunday Night Football. So I am very, very much looking forward to this matchup that's coming up here between these two teams, Cowboys at the Chiefs. Dak Prescott worth the play. Zeke Elliott worth the play as well in this. Tony Pollard just shy of 100 yards from scrimmage. He's a great guy to put out there as well in your flex as a low end 2, high end 3. I think that, he's definitely the running back 2 in Dallas. I think he's working his way up the fantasy charts. He's a guy that you should definitely have on your team, and this is a good handcuff for Zeke Elliott. So Tony Pollard, if he's out there for some odd reason on waivers or whatever, free agency, pick him up. This is someone that, as much as Zeke has the name, Tony Pollard is still getting the yards, so I like putting him out there as well. Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb's got an arm injury. If he's okay to go, which I imagine he's going to play in this game, then I would put him out there as well. Just monitor that. Shout out to Sean McKeon, who got out his first 2 catches of his NFL career at tight end for the Cowboys, but Dalton Schultz is the one to play. Kansas City, Pat Mahomes, obviously, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, all worth the play in this matchup. And as far as running back, I am not wowed by anybody here. And, but Darrell Williams, he's a wide receiver kind of running back, so he'd be the one that I think you could flex out on your team. But I think the majority of the value, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Pat Mahomes. I do like Darrell Williams with value. He's just one of those guys that's not your traditional running back, more of somebody that you flex out, but I do think he's going to bring value. This is a really, really tough game for me. A very tough game for me to pick. Mike's going with the Chiefs at home, and I am very, very much kind of leaning on both sides of this game, and I'm going to go with the Cowboys. So this is the first game that Mike and I have gone opposite in this entire day, but I'm going to pick the Cowboys to try and prove here that they are for real. The Chiefs have faltered a little bit. Look for the Cowboys to take advantage of that. I think this is going to be a good game. Could be 38-33 when all's said and done. I'm picking the Cowboys. Mike, next game up here, Arizona at Seattle. What do you got?
Yeah, I like this game a lot too. The Cardinals are 8-2, and the Seahawks are 3-6. Who would have thought that? Well, Russell Wilson was down for a little while. That's kind of an excuse, I guess. He was still supposed to be out, made a remarkable comeback from having that pin and crushed bones in his finger. Amazing comeback. Even the doctors have said this is an amazing comeback in this time frame, but got walloped by Green Bay last week. So Russell Wilson looking to get back on track. Number 13 on the rankings for quarterback this week. Then on the other side of the ball, still not sure about Kyler Murray. Is it going to be Colt McCoy again? I have both those guys ranked at 27 and 29 because I really don't know what's going on there. Really not excited about either opportunity here right now. Kyler Murray will get bumped up that ranking considerably if he's named the starter. But I look for that to be another game time situation, another sportsmanship issue for Seattle. Looking at the running back, though, James Conner. Chase Edmonds is hurt. He's out. He's on IR. James Conner's the full guy, and James Conner's been tearing it up. I like him, number 10 on the rankings this week. And you go down a little further, number 23 for Alex Collins. And then there's a tremendous drop-off after that. I'm not starting anybody either. Looking at the wide receivers, though, DK Metcalf, number 13 on the wide receiver rankings this week. And then DeAndre Hopkins, as long as he makes the game, he'll be number 33. Be careful. Make sure he makes the game this week. Number 33, again, on the rankings. And then A.J. Green at 154 years old, number 45 on the rankings this week. Tyler Lockett, hoping he's going to make the game here. I'm not really counting on that right now, but if he does, he's number 25 on the rankings. And then I'm looking at the tight end position. Zach Ertz at number 16, and then maybe Gerald Everett at 21 for Seattle. So I'm not super excited there. I'm going to go with the home team here. Another upset. I'm going to go with Seattle at home.
Yeah, I mean, this game is going to be an exciting game. I mean, it's a divisional game. It's the NFC West. Arizona, I said last year, watch out for them. I said they may not be there, like they might be right there at the precipice, like a 500 team, but watch out for Arizona. I said as good as other teams are, Arizona's that team that I think could really push to make a name for itself in the NFC West, if not the NFC as a whole. They came out striking at the beginning of the year. Chandler Jones, former Syracuse player, had, 5 sacks in one game. So looking at what Arizona was kind of making me feel like last year that they were leading into, they've definitely gone even farther this year, and they've commanded themselves. Colt McCoy is hurt. Kyler Murray is hurt. So that means Chris Streveler might be the guy at quarterback if Kyler doesn't play. If Kyler plays, then he's worth the play. Whether or not he does, James Conner is worth the play at running back. DeAndre Hopkins right now has a hamstring injury that's hampering him. So that lowers him to a lower end 1 for me. He's still a wide receiver 1, but hamstring injuries, they put you in some kind of way, especially as running backs or wide receivers, and it'll affect your fantasy. So I just pray that he'll be back here and at more of a full go sooner than later, hopefully this weekend. Rondale Moore totaled 3 catches here. Rondale, with DeAndre being down a little bit, Christian Kirk, Rondale Moore, they rise up. Christian Kirk a little bit above Rondale Moore. Zach Ertz, I would say, is worth the play as a tight end too. For the Seahawks, Russ the Bus is back. You got to put him out there. I don't know how this man does it. You know, they're saying he's going to be out, this, that, whatever. Right after he went on the injury report and went down and was out of the game, the next game he's out there throwing passes on the field. He looks like he's warming up and getting ready. Russell Wilson's just, I don't know if they give him that spray that they give to the players in the FIFA World Cup, where they come over and they spritz you, and then all of a sudden these guys' broken leg repairs itself and they can jump like 10 feet in the air. So Russell Wilson, worth the play in this matchup. Alex Collins, somebody to look to in this one too, as a running back too on the lower end. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, both worth the play as well. DK Metcalf just got to keep himself out of trouble here. So with that being said, it's in Seattle. Arizona's strong, but I think that Russell Wilson makes a strong comeback. So I'm going to agree with you, Mike, and I'm going to go with the Seahawks in this one. Sunday Night Football, Mr. Sofka. Pitt at the Chargers. What do you got?
Yeah, just a quick comment on that injury thing. It is similar to what they got in FIFA, because if you notice the past couple of years, they got those blue pullover tents with an exam table on each side of the field. That's so they can stick the needle in your knee without the fans getting all woozy and concerned about it. There's certain things you don't want to see how the sausage is made. You just want to eat it. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. It's sick to say that, but that's real facts there. Going right to the Steelers-Charger game, both teams, well, the Steelers are 5-3-1. The Chargers are 5-4. This game's a Sunday night game. This is going to be a little tricky, but well, let's get into it here. Pittsburgh, not sure who the quarterback's going to be. Is Ben still going to be out, or is Mason Rudolph going to stink it up again? Those guys are in the 30s. And, for quarterback, Justin Herbert, he's been having a great year. But 3 of the last 4 games, he's thrown for less than 250 yards and had at least 1 interception. And they've lost those games. So Justin Herbert needs to get on track against Pittsburgh at home. I think he does. He's number 7 on the rankings this week. Then I look at running back. Well, you can't really say too many bad things about Najee Harris. He's been up there, top 5 running back all year, number 3 on the rankings. And then for the LA Chargers, number 2 on the rankings is Austin Eckler. So this is definitely a running back game here. Looking at the wide receivers for both teams, Deontay Johnson's been having the best year at all the wide receivers for Pittsburgh. He's number 15 on the rankings. Mike Williams, a number 23, and Keenan Allen, number 7 on the receiver list here. Looking at the tight end position, not sure I see a lot of value. Maybe a Jared Cook. He's touchdown dependent, red zone dependent guy, but in a touchdown only league, he's a good tight end to have. I'm talking about Jared Cook. And then Pat Freiermuth's making a name for himself out of Pittsburgh, number 13 on the rankings this week. Looking at both of these teams, it's a pretty evenly matched game, but I'm going to have to go with the Chargers at home.
Yeah, this Steelers team coming off of a game against Detroit where nobody wanted to win. Granted, the Mason Rudolph was your quarterback at the time, and obviously he doesn't look like a long-term answer for anything, including what 1 + 1 means. So, I can't find a ton of value in the passing game, which makes Najee Harris even more relevant in this matchup. Najee Harris, definitely a running back 1 worth the play for you this week. Deontay Johnson, James Washington, Mason Rudolph seems to like him. He got more action than ever in his career in the NFL in this last game against Detroit. So if Mason's your quarterback, then Washington has some value as a wide receiver 3. Deontay Johnson has some value there as well. If Big Ben is able to go, then still look for Najee Harris. If Big Ben goes, Pat Freiermuth's value goes up. If it's Mason Rudolph, then his value kind of goes down a little bit. So Freiermuth affected by this, so watch that for you people that have Freiermuth. I picked him up in a bunch of my leagues a couple weeks ago. Couldn't believe he was still out there. Picked him up in 3 leagues. Pat Freiermuth, his value up if Big Ben plays. Najee Harris's value is up no matter what. On the other side for the Chargers, who are coming off a loss against the Vikings, 27-20. Justin Herbert, the better quarterback, no matter what quarterback plays for the Steelers in this game. I like him. I like Eckler. Keenan Allen in this one. Mike Williams as I would probably say a wide receiver 2. And then we would look to Jared Cook here potentially as well. But I like Freiermuth better if Big Ben is able to play. Plus, I want to make a note here. Larry Roundtree, I want to congratulate the native of Raleigh, North Carolina, Larry Roundtree III, who got his first career rushing touchdown in the loss to the Vikings. So big shout out to you and congratulations. Austin Eckler, though, worth the play for the Chargers in the backfield in this game. Last one that we have, Mike, for everybody here is going to be our Monday Night Football matchup. And for Monday Night Football, folks, it's going to be interesting. Giants-Tampa. What do you have, Mike?
Yeah, well, the Bucs reeling. They're just off that Washington loss to Washington football team. That was horrendous effort by everyone on the Bucs. And the Giants aren't having a great year. They're 3-6. The Bucs having the opposite year, 6-3, but they're 4-0 at home. This is a game in Tampa. It's on Monday night. Tampa should win this game. Let's get into the rankings here. Tom Brady, number 3 on the rankings. Daniel Jones, number 11 on my rankings this week. Looking at the running back situation, Leonard Fournette, number 9, playoff Lenny, Super Bowl Lenny, whatever you want to call him. He's been getting it done most of the year. He's even been catching all more passes. Number 9 on the rankings this week. Saquon Barkley should be back in full. Number 16 on my rankings this week. And then looking at the wide receiver situation, Tampa, of course, has 2 of the best in the game, and Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. They're ranked 5 and 9 on my rankings, respectively. And then looking at the other side at the wide receivers, Kenny Golladay, haven't heard that name all year, really, and a Kadarius Toney, number 27, number 28, respectively. And let me just say this. If the Giants want to win games, as long as Kadarius Toney is healthy, you need to center the offense around him. You got Saquon back. This is a time for people to focus on Saquon, so then you can focus on Kadarius Toney. This guy's a playmaking machine. He's ready to happen. You need to put him in a position to be successful. And until you do that, you're going to be mired in muck and mediocrity and 3-6. So 27 and 28, respectively, on the rankings this week for those cats. And then tight end, I'm really not excited about anybody. Maybe Evan Ingram at number 15 on my rankings. The Bucs have a tremendous drop-off with Gronk being out. Cameron Brate, number 28 on the rankings, and O.J. Howard, number 31. And I got to go with the Bucs. They're the better team. They're 4-0 at home. They got the go-to quarterback, the better wide receivers. They put their people in a position to win. I'm taking the Bucs.
Yeah, and I do want to make mention, you picked the Chargers in the last game. I did not give my team here. I have watched, no matter what anybody thinks of the Steelers, I feel like they've had every Sunday night football game. Like they've had like 3 out of the last 4 and then like a Monday night game. We've only seen them in prime time, and they play well in prime time, except for last week where they played during the day. But it's Steelers, like Monday night Steelers, Sunday night. Now they're back on Sunday night again. They play games close. The Chargers have reeled. Justin Herbert doesn't sell me as much as maybe he's sold other people this season. So I'm actually picking the Steelers to win that game. But as we get into Monday Night Football with the Tampa Bay Bucs hosting the Giants coming off that loss to Washington, again, the Washington football team, they don't know who they are as far as their name, and you don't know who they are because every single week they can win or lose. I mean, Washington is that team that you never know which way they're going to tilt. They can beat anybody, but they're not that good. Like, their record's not that great. They're not that team that you expect to win the Super Bowl. However, they play teams tough and somehow found a way to beat Tampa. On the Giants side of things for this, Saquon and Devontae are both hurt. If Saquon's able to play, you could put him out there, but he's a running back 2 for me this year. Kadarius Toney out of Florida, I don't know what the heck's going on. I really don't. I mean, this team fails to move the ball. They fail to wow you. The offense it's just not working. Kenny Galladay's better than he looks. Kadarius Toney, I'm sure, is better than he looks. Saquon Barkley's better than he looks. So Saquon's the only guy that I would look to in this game. For Tampa, Tom Brady, Leonard Fournette, Giovanni Bernard, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. Yes on yes on yes on yes, yes, yes. Cameron Brate as well. I'm picking the Bucs in a runaway here. I don't think it's going to be an issue, and I don't know why the heck this game is on Monday night. I think it should be Dallas and Kansas City. Just my thoughts. So Tampa to win this game. As always, Mr. Sofka, Hall of Fame FantasyFootball.com is where you can find Mike. You can also find him on the Winning Fantasy Football YouTube channel and our group, Winning Fantasy Football, where we share all of our videos and our thoughts throughout the week right there on Facebook, the group, Winning Fantasy Football. Make sure you join us there. As always, Mr. Sofka, I appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate it too, Dan. I look forward to talking to you next time.
And the next time we talk, it's going to be right about Turkey Day. So very excited to have Mr. Sofka the day before Thanksgiving. We'll be here with you. So talk to you soon, brother, okay?
All right, thanks.
Take care. That coming from Mike Sofka on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. So very happy to have you here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I want to give you all a proud thank you for being a part of the show. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is live for you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, where sports meets life. You can catch us on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on facebook.com/wakeupcalldt and facebook.com/live-now-dt. So make sure you hook up with us there, as well as on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, and the homepage of wakeupcalldt.com will be there as well. So check us out there, where sports meets life once again every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Excited to be here with you for the rest of the week, with a lot of great stuff coming up here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Once the shows go live, you can find us in the archive. Go to Stitcher, Spotify, MixLR, YouTube, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Podbean, and more. Simply search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT, and you'll find me on any one of those avenues. And a big thanks to all of our Central and Upstate New York partners, Cafe Cubal, Carvel DeWitt, Wildcat Sports Pub, as well as Progressive Dental, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Mon Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Avicoli's Canine Campground Dog Boarding, the Millhouse Market, Lemoyne Dolphins, Pizza Man, Honda City of Liverpool, PB&J's Lunchbox, Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, and Mother's Cupboard. Check out a really cool video coming up from PB&J's Lunchbox today on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. And if you somehow missed the fantastic first ever broadcast we did from PB&J's Lunchbox with Cafe Cubal being served while I was eating a breakfast sandwich from PB&J's Lunchbox, the marriage of two awesome things on 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York, while I broadcasted with Syracuse Orange alumni Rob Drummond and Dan Conley, speaking on Syracuse football then and now. If you missed a second of that, you can find it on facebook.com/wakeupcalldt and on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is also the proud multimedia marketing partner and the first in history for the Lemoyne College Dolphins. Just like today, make sure you look out for Lemoyne College on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, here where sports meets that thing called life. Every single Wednesday is Dolphin time at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, where I have the opportunity to share with you my specials with the Lemoyne College Dolphins, and those specials airing every single month. On the first and third Wednesday are AD and DT, where Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora, get to tackle a topic about Lemoyne in all of those episodes, and we get to have an expanded conversation and unprecedented access and unrivaled access with the Athletics Director of Lemoyne College, Bob Beretta. And then the second and fourth Wednesdays, Dolphin Dive gets to dive into stories with student athletes, coaches, and staff members from Lemoyne College. Coming up next week, right before Thanksgiving, we will have the opportunity on Wednesday, November 24th, to tell the incredible story of Brianne Rett, who is from the women's track team on Lemoyne College campus. So very excited to have Brianne, hailing from Massachusetts, on the show, and we get to share with her a very special tribute to her sister Grace, who was on the Holy Cross women's rowing team that passed away in the tragic car accident. So very excited to have Brianne on the show to tell her incredible story and to share some love for her sister and share her sister's memory. So as always, fins up with the Lemoyne College Dolphins and our multimedia marketing partnership. Go to wakeupcalldt.com and click on the Lemoyne tab, as well as go to LemoyneDolphins.com. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is also the proud multimedia marketing partner and the first in history for your Marywood University Pacers as well. Marywood University featured on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora all throughout the month in exclusive segments called Pacer Pride. And I have the absolute pleasure to speak with those Marywood Pacers all throughout the month. our specials, there are a ton of them. They're available at youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, and of course on the Marywood tab on wakeupcalldt.com. For Marywood Pacers unprecedented and unrivaled content, come to wakeupcalldt.com, as well as Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora throughout the week and throughout the month. Pacer Pride. Go Pacers, as the Pacers never stop. Check them out on wakeupcalldt.com's Marywood tab and on marywoodpacers.com. I appreciate y'all. I hope y'all have a fantastic day today. I hope you're having a fantastic week. As always, God bless. No stress. Do your best. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora will be back with you this Thursday. Be hanging out with you Thursday and Friday of this week as we get set for an awesome week coming up here for Thanksgiving week next week. So Joe said, just traded Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, and Keenan Allen for Najee Harris and T. Higgins. What do I think? I think that was a mistake. I think you gave up too much, Joe, and you didn't get enough back. I like Najee, but giving up Kamara, Ingram, and Keenan Allen was way too much to give up for Najee Harris. So I would say that you got some value, but you gave up too much. So I hope that T. Higgins plays better for you, and I hope that Najee continues to play well. But in my opinion, there should have been more value coming to you, and there wasn't. So that's unfortunate, very unfortunate. So I do hope that it works out for you on your end, though. With that being said, I appreciate y'all. I want to thank Mike Sofka. I want to thank Bob Beretta for being a part of today's show. I want to thank you for being a part of today's show. And as always, find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call_DT. God bless. No stress. Do your best. Tomorrow will be a week until Thanksgiving. So very excited. And think about what you're